The renunciation of what we call a worldly life, meaning vows of celibacy. So, okay, no family on that sense, no husband, no wife, no children. Renunciation of the attachment to the immediate family. So it's not that my mind is worried about them, or that I'm being constantly influenced by, oh my God, but my mom said this, or no. So renunciation of that attachment. Renunciation of working for yourself. So we don't go out and have day jobs. It's not about how much money can I earn and put in my bank account so that I can then, go shopping. But it's not a renunciation of the world. And that's a very important distinction. When they talk about a renunciation of samsara, it's a renunciation of my attachment to, my being caught up in that wheel. It's not a renunciation of the world that exists. It's the exact opposite. Take the Buddha. Yeah, he went and sat under the tree, meditated, attained enlightenment, and then what did he do? He got up, brushed himself off, and went straight back to the village to share the teachings. That was his duty. He had been born as a prince, protected from the truth of the world, protected from ever seeing illness, ever seeing death, ever seeing handicap. And when he finally saw that, when he finally realized, oh my God, I'm going to die one day. That guy on the stretcher one day will be me. So what in the world is the purpose of the accumulation of more and more jewels, more and more gold, more and more wealth, more and more horses and soldiers? And I need to find out the real truth. And so he left to find it out. And once he found it, he fulfilled his duty by coming back and sharing it. And so sometimes it's important to come out of the world that we're stuck to for a little while, even if we're going to go back to it, in order to experience that truth. But even those who have renounced forever, what we've renounced is just the smallness of it. So we've renounced my family, my parents, my children. Because to most people, that's how it is. I have, my 2 parents, maybe I have 4, some in-laws, a couple of kids. Those are mine. When you renounce the world, it's not that you disconnect from the world. It's that the world becomes your family. So we have renounced the smallness of it. It's a renunciation of working for me as in this individual body. That bank account with my name on it. My ATM card. But it's working for me still, but with an awareness of the wholeness of me, which is all of creation. And I'll tell you something on a personal level. In the 22 years I've been here, the most enlightened saints, the ones in whose presence you really feel like you are in the presence of God. My Guru Pujya Swamiji, not just included, but right there at the top, but others as well, have been the ones who are the most deeply connected to the creation. A mother, when her child is crying in the next room, even if she's practicing what she thinks is tough love and okay, somebody's told her, let the kid cry, don't keep going in. She may sit in the living room on her hands, but her mind and her heart is there with the crying child. And eventually most of them give up the tough love thing, and they can't not. The enlightened masters respond to the world like that. The world is crying, whether it's crying of hunger, whether it's crying of sickness, whether it's a river crying that it's being dried up and polluted, trees crying that they're being cut down, species of birds crying that their habitat is being cut down, whatever it may be, whatever form or language energetically those tears may take, they hear them, they feel them. And so they respond. And this is why, if you look at the most enlightened masters, not even just living today, but throughout history, they have been the ministers to the poor. They have been the ones in service. Whether in service through teaching, like the Buddha, or whether in actual service of opening hospitals and schools and whatever it may be. So it's not either or. It's both. The thing we need to be detached from is our identification with just this. That's what makes us stuck. Me, mine, I. My family, my wife, my husband, my kids, the college my kids are going to get into, the job my kids are going to get, how big my house is compared to the guy across the street, who's talking to me how, my bank account, my physical body. That's what makes us stuck. So we renounce that attachment. And it may absolutely require getting out of that situation temporarily, even if you're going to go back to it. That's why traditionally people come to ashrams, even if they're going to go back, in order to have that experience. There is no guru I know worth his salt who would say to a man, leave your wife and newborn child and find God. There is, I know, we're going to come back. I know where he's going. But just in a room full of people who, and people listening who may think where we're going. Who's going to say that because they need to be taken care of. When the Buddha did it, though, there were two aspects of that. One aspect is, remember, the Buddha was a prince. His wife, his child, were very well taken care of. That's one piece. The other piece is the Buddha's karma was such. His mother was told, your son is either going to be, there's only two ways he can go. Either he's going to become this great powerful emperor, or he's going to become a complete renunciant. So if we believe in karma, destiny in that way, we know there were only two ways to go. And the way of the emperor was definitely not the way of truth. And so for him, it became about the way of truth. But I'll tell you something. if his wife and if he was not a prince and they lived in a shack on the edge of the forest and the Buddha was the sole bread earner of the family, I don't know. I can't claim to know exactly what he thought or what he would think if he came today. But my awareness of the Buddha is not one that it was about causing harm to others. Pain is always there. Pain is always there in life. If they didn't lose him that time, they're going to die at some point. We always go through that pain. It's inevitable. It's the only thing that's inevitable. But they were being very well taken care of, and he knew that. So when you talk about a regular man leaving a newborn and a wife, this is not something we want to give people ideas of. And as I said, I don't know any guru who would accept a man in those circumstances, unless they came from logistic circumstances like the Buddha, and there happened to be an entire palace there, ready to take care of his family that he had left behind. But also remember, lastly, that our duties, they change also at different times in life. And so this is where in Indian tradition we talk about, the 4 ashrams of life. So our duty in our brahmacharya ashram is to study, to learn. Not just in school, but brahmacharya, to learn about God. And then we move into our householder phase. Our duty in the grihastha ashram phase is to be a householder. Take care of your family. And then we move into the vanprastha ashram stage. Our children are married. They're set. They're done. We slowly pull away. And then the sannyasa ashram phase. The decades before we leave the body, the golden years. Sannyasa ashram. So it's not that we come onto earth with one singular duty. We have different duties, or even 4 singular duties, and I've just given it in a very universal way, but we each have our own duties even within those ashrams. So the duty of a father in the grihastha ashram phase is to take care of his family. But in the case of the Buddha, remember, his family was already taken care of. He had a completely different situation. His duty, his real duty on earth, was to be the Buddha. And that was superimposed upon any other temporary duties that he may have had at different phases. Lord Ram's duty as a king was superimposed over his duty as a husband and father. Otherwise, you could say the same thing about him. How could he leave Sita Ma and his children? Well, because he had a duty as a king. He had a duty as the embodiment of Dharma. But again, they were well taken care of. In a different way, but also well taken care of. And so it's important also to remember that it's not duty in a vacuum. There are cases where a crucial duty of one's life takes precedence over individual temporary duties. And we could come up with a million examples of this. You're an employee in your office. You've got a duty to do what your boss says. Then you get a phone call that your child has just been in a car accident. You're going to keep filing papers? It's not 5 o'clock yet? I've got a duty to be here till 5 o'clock? Well, of course not. Your duty as a father takes precedence over your duty as a file clerk. And so it's a minute by minute, moment by moment sometimes question, because we all have lots of duties in life. What takes precedence? What's a higher calling, a higher duty? But whatever it is, to remember to do it. Fully, sincerely, actively, fearlessly.